I think I'll start the speech by saying, as I was saying.
Joining us now to talk about the political side of the story, President and Executive Director of the Daily Signal, Robert Bluey. Good morning.
Good morning, Hannah.
So it seems former President Trump is playing it tough with this. Do you think it is helping or hurting his campaign? How are people responding?
I think President Trump recognizes that Pennsylvania is the crown jewel of all of the battleground states in the presidential race, and that going to Butler is as crucial to him getting the message out to the people of Pennsylvania as it is highlighting the fact that he faced these two assassination attempts. Of course, there's frustration among Republicans, particularly those in Congress, that there isn't more media attention and, as Jonathan just said, more scrutiny on the actions that were taken or not taken by the previous leadership of the Secret Service. And so a lot of questions still unanswered, and I think Donald Trump pinpointing what's going on there in Butler and returning to the scene is certainly an opportunity to raise those questions again and bring attention to the story.
Robert, you follow these campaigns very closely. Trump didn't have to go back. In fact, we know now he won't be alone. Both running mate J.D. Vance will be with him, and ex-CEO Elon Musk will also be in attendance tomorrow at that rally. What's the significance of him going back to Butler?
Big significance. Obviously, he could have been killed that day. I mean, remember, it was just mere centimeters, and that bullet could have taken his life. And so to return, as he said, to finish the speech that he never had an opportunity to finish, will be an opportunity, not only symbolism, but as I said before, I think is an opportunity to show that he is strong, he's not afraid, he's going to go back and speak to those people of Butler who were obviously traumatized by the incident that took place there. And obviously, right there north of Pittsburgh, you know, he's in a community that will play a critical role to determine whether or not he wins Pennsylvania or whether it goes to the Democrats.
The president and executive director of the Daily Signal, Robert Bluey, thank you for joining us this morning and have a great weekend.
Thanks, Chris.
You got it. And don't forget, we will have special coverage of Trump's return to Butler, Pennsylvania tomorrow. Our live coverage begins at 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 Central, right here on Merit TV.
And coming up, a highly anticipated